So I wanted to read a few emails just to show you guys how these fights work with the district. Okay. So I uploaded a video where I informed the public that they want to close down my son's one of the classes of the programs, the alternative curriculum autism program at a school, and that I've been in communication with Yolanda Bueno, the administrative coordinator of the Los Angeles Unified School District. So I just wanted to, I printed out some of our back and forth emails. So Yolanda and I had a conversation over the phone. Okay. I'm a very fast typer, very fast typer. So I typed as much as my little heart could. So I just wanted to point that out. The conversations did not go well. It was very generic. It was very, for lack of better terms, it just in my heart and my own personal opinion, did not feel like this was an important matter to Miss Yolanda Bueno. She had a response to a lot of things that I'd say, but they just did not feel good enough. Anyways, I'm going to share that transcript of what I was able to type with you guys. I shared all my notes with ChatGPT. I 1,000,000% do not vouch for chat. I don't know who's controlling that, but sometimes it helps with at least just like summaries or just better vocabulary for me. And this is what chat had to say. So I emailed Miss Yolanda Bueno on Wednesday, March 11, 2026 at 9:55 a.m. This is now public records, okay? So you can request this through their paralegal department. You just email pra@lausd.net and you just ask them, can I please have the most current email exchanges between Miss Cynthia Torres and Yolanda Bueno? And they will give you this so that you guys know that I am not fibbing. So I told her, well, okay, I sent her this. It's a summary of a conversation between Yolanda Bueno and Cynthia Torres. So the key points that she claims, chat says, based off what I typed that she said, according to the transcript, she stated that one, program closure depends on student numbers, which is true. You did say that, Ms. Bueno. Ms. Bueno explained that programs follow where the students are. You did say that. It follows where the students are. So if there isn't that many students, it's in my personal opinion that their needs are not going to be cared for because there's too little of them. That's my trauma with you guys. That you guys, if there's not 8 and there's 6, is my personal opinion. Who cares about those 6, right? I personally feel like maybe you don't want to pay for those 6. You just want to take their money because you get paid per student and then close down that program to not put money into that program anymore and then smash them into other classrooms, is my personal opinion. My personal opinion. But just a little heads up, Ms. Bueno, the public's personal opinion will matter. Hopefully. There's, I guess, enough of us. The school currently has 3 autism programs. You stated, Ms. Bueno, that the school currently operates 3 autism programs. That is true. Classes, not programs. There's 1 program and 3 classes. And that the district plans to reduce it down to 2. So by the next year, there will be 2 classes instead of 3. The reason given was not enough students. You did say that, Miss Bueno. You did say that. You said because there's not enough students. That was your response. So you framed it as normal district practice. So she implemented these changes happen when students move between elementary, middle, and high school. So the issues with your explanation, based on what appears in the transcript that I gave her of how fast I typed, your explanation appears general and subjective, not supported by specific data. That is true, is it not, Ms. Bueno? It's true. You did not show me any data, and I asked you for data, and you did not show me any data. You have not even responded to my emails where I'm asking you for the data via emails. Enrollment numbers, program capacities, staffing ratios, policy citations, written decisions, or legal requirements. Yes, none of that have you provided. Instead, you replied on broad statements about how programs usually operate. So an important fact, it says school districts cannot simply close a special education program without documentation showing enrollment data, program capacity, staffing allocations, service obligations and IEPs, least restrictive environment considerations under the IDEA. I did say that. I did say that, Ms. Bueno. I did say that. And I've sent you a few emails saying that as well. Your response to this email, so Yolanda Bueno's response to this email was, because then I called, I saw that it was 10:47 a.m. No, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. It was 9:55 a.m. And I waited and I did not get a response saying, that she received my email. Usually I like to receive those. So I got a little impatient and I called and I said, hey, can you please let Ms. Bueno know that I emailed her and if she could respond to that, at least to the very least saying that she received the email. On March 11, that same day, at 10:47 a.m., she responds by saying, good morning, Ms. Torres. Your email has been received. Thank you, Yolanda. Okay, awesome. That made me feel better because now she got the summary of our conversation. A little bit of it. I still have the entire transcript that I was able to type. I thought to myself, oh my God, yay, she responded. Now I have her attention via email. That's what I've been kind of wanting. I want us to have a conversation via email because I believe it is very important for the public to know what's going on. So I responded on Wednesday, that same day, March 11, 2026 at 12:21 p.m. Ms. Bueno, if this move is implemented, it raises serious concerns about the safety, well-being, and appropriate educational support of the students who rely on this program. Eliminating this program could place vulnerable children at significant risk. To illustrate the seriousness of this concern, the book Ethics for Behavior Analysts in Chapter 16, titled Conducting a Risk-Benefit Analysis, discusses a hypothetical but alarming headline: Behavior Analyst Indicted for Abusing Children. The author describes how such a scenario represents the worst nightmare for professionals in the field of ABA. It illustrates how, when proper safeguards and thoughtful decision-making are not in place, situations can spiral out of control. Mistakes may occur, a client may be seriously harmed, and the professionals involved may face devastating legal and ethical consequences. Beyond the immediate harm to the child, the repercussions extend much further. The damage to the reputation and professional life of a practitioner, as well as to the field of behavior analysis as a whole, can be profound. The ripple effects remain with the child's family indefinitely, and the community will never forget when a child with disabilities is harmed in the name of treatment or services. Risk-benefit analysis is defined as the comparison of the potential risk of a situation to its related benefits. In matters involving vulnerable children, this type of analysis is not simply recommended, it is an ethical responsibility. I'm going to take a real quick pause and I'm going to grab, I had my book right there. I think I took it with me. Where is it? Give me 1 second. Yes. I think I took it with me when we went to go shoot. I thought I would have some time to read, but I did not. But the book is Ethics for Behavior Analysts. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. It is our code of ethics for behavior analysts. So, speaking personally as a professional in the field, I believe it is my duty to abide by these ethical standards for the protection of the children and families we serve. These principles require careful evaluation of whether a decision could expose vulnerable students to unnecessary risk. This leads me to ask an important question. Does a similar ethical responsibility apply within your role as well? I would appreciate clarification regarding the ethical framework or professional standards that guide decisions in your position. If there are specific policies, codes of ethics, professional guidelines, or administrative standards that inform decisions such as potential removal of the alternative curriculum autism program at South Gate Middle School, I would welcome the opportunity to review them so that I may better understand how such a decision could be justified. Additionally, please clarify your official title and the scope of your responsibilities associated with your position, particularly as they relate to services and educational supports for students with special needs. Greater transparency in these areas would help families and community members better understand how decisions affecting vulnerable students are evaluated and implemented. Finally, I would also ask whether the district has conducted a formal impact assessment or risk benefit analysis regarding the removal of this program, particularly in light of the protections afforded to students with disabilities under federal law, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Students receiving special education services are entitled to appropriate educational support under the IDEA, that's the one I just mentioned, including the right to a FAPE, which is a free, appropriate public education. Any programmatic change that significantly affects students receiving specialized services warrants careful consideration to ensure that these legal and educational obligations continue to be fully met. Sincerely, Cynthia Torres. So I emailed her that. I thought, well, now that I have your attention, like, hey, here's this email. Can we please talk about this? And her response to this on that same day, Wednesday, March 11, 2026, at 4:14 p.m., which is now public information, she responds by saying, "Good morning, Ms. Torres. Thank you for your response and the multiple communications received today. It appears that you may have recorded our conversation. Out of abundance of caution, please be advised that I do not and have not given my consent to be recorded, and that California law makes it illegal to record someone without their consent. Please refrain from recording in the future unless there has been express consent given, for example, during a formal IEP team meeting. Sincerely, Yolanda." So, Miss Yolanda, it sounds like you're very worried about yourself. You kind of are very much proving my feelings towards you guys. Are you worried about you and your district? Or do you just really like that others abide by our state and federal laws? Others. You want me to abide by our California law, which is a California Penal Code 503, is it? 506? I forget. I'm very familiar with that one. I am. If enough people make enough Public Records Act requests, they'll know that I've tried to obtain LAUSD's permission to record our conversations, because I think it's beneficial for us to really listen to what each other is saying. I've given you guys permission to record me. As a matter of fact, I want you to record me. That's what I want. I want the public to hear actual recordings of our conversations because it's almost not real. So you want me to abide by our California law and our penal codes? And you, Miss Bueno, what about you and the district? Can you guys abide by our federal law, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act? Is that okay with you, Miss Bueno? Can you? Pretty please. I'm asking nicely. I'm asking you very nicely. If you can please help support our children. Can you abide by Code of Ethics, the Code of Ethics for Behavior Analysts? I have extra copies of the book, Miss Bueno. Would you like one? As a matter of fact, I will mail you a copy of a very important book that can help you. Maybe you've just not received training in behavior analysis. I'm waiting for those records, so we'll soon find out. But yeah, that was our exchange.